Hey there everyone, welcome to part 2 of this 2018 mass unboxing video. If you haven't watched part 1, I would highly recommend doing that right now. I provided a link in the description below, not only so you can see the awesome items that I unboxed, but there were also just a lot of really weird and kind of bizarre moments that happened in that unboxing video. I had major trouble with one destination in particular. I spent over 25 minutes trying to get this destination to work properly, and I did end up getting it to work by accident and then couldn't, replicate what I just did. So that was fun. And then I also received, in another part of the unboxing video, I also received like a secondary item that I wasn't intending on receiving. And so that was a little bit of an added bonus, and overall we just had a lot of fun with magnets throughout the video. So I know that sounds really vague and kind of bizarre, but if you haven't already, go check out that first part of the video. And if you're really stubborn and you don't want to go do that, well, I'll give you a quick rundown of what we looked at. So we took a look at Fiery Flynn. I also unboxed Splatter and Dodge. I took a look at the recycling cars. There's Easter Thomas and Streamlined Emily and Green Salty. Those are the on-the-glow cargo cars. This one lights up. It's really cool. And that little car you see right there is from the Creative Junction destination, which is the last item that I unboxed in that first part of the video. So that's just a quick snapshot of what I unboxed in the first video. Obviously that wasn't everything, but hopefully that will tempt you to go watch the first part of the video. Before I begin the second part of the video, I need to address something. This was the destination I was having all that trouble with. This is the grain loader. I bought it new off of eBay, and I spent a good 25 minutes or so during the first part of the video trying to get this to work properly. And the whole problem was this little car right here. This is the car that came with the grain loader. The problem I was having is that this piece was flipped over, and when you're supposed to put this car underneath like this, and it's supposed to do this magical little trick where when you slide it through and it pops out the other side, it's supposed to go from empty to full. And obviously since it's full right now, it doesn't do anything. The problem I was having is that it wasn't doing that. And I could feel like a magnetic pull. There was something with magnets going on here, but I just couldn't figure it out. So what I did after the video is I literally sat the destination here like this. I put the car in this kind of little bay area, this little waiting area here, with this side down because, I couldn't get it to flip up. So this side was down, and I just sat it there, and I left it there overnight. And then when I came down in the morning, almost like magic, the car came out looking like this. So somewhere in the middle of the night, it flipped over. Basically, it worked like it was supposed to work. And I think what the deal was is that, like I said, I bought this new off of eBay. I think that the magnet in this piece right here and the magnets in here, they just weren't familiar with each other, because when I unboxed this, the car sort of was in a different compartment compared to the actual grain loader destination, and I'm thinking that these magnets just weren't familiar with each other. And since they weren't interacting with each other, obviously nothing was happening when I was trying to slide the car through in that first part of the video. So to prove that this is not just some anomaly, and I got really lucky while doing the first part of the unboxing video, I'm going to bravely flip this over. By the way, I still want to say there has to be a manual release part of this car, because what if you don't have the destination to trigger it? So anybody with any information out there, please help me. Unfortunately, I'm filming the second part of this unboxing video before I've actually uploaded the first part, so the answer is probably in there. But I'm really confused as to why there isn't like a manual override button on this so I can flip it back over. Regardless, I'm going to do something very risky. Remember, I did this before in the first part of the unboxing video and didn't have a whole lot of luck. But to prove that, this destination actually works for everybody out there, I'm going to slide this in. Sometimes I have to give it a little nudge. There we go. Did you guys see that? It actually does work. Little nudge. Just kind of get the magnets to activate. There we go. Okay, so I think it's a little bit on the slow side. I think the idea is that you're supposed to slide this slide the car through the destination like one fell swoop, excuse me. And it's supposed to look really flawless and everything, but mine, for some reason when I touch it, it seems to want to go, you know? If I, move it around a little bit. See, it's still not working 100%, but hey, it's working. Anyway, sorry I wasted the first 5 minutes of this video, but I had to clear that up because I had such an issue with this grain loader destination in the first part of the video. I just wanted to clear up that yes, it does indeed work. Hopefully you could see the magnets working right there. I mean, there is a really strong magnetic connection. Okay, come on, work for me. Just do it for me one more time and then we can move on. Okay, as you can see, I mean, I was messing with this before I made the video and it was working just fine. Wow. Let's not start this again, please. I still feel like I'm doing this wrong. Like, okay. Maybe does it need to lean up against that magnet on the side there, do you think? See, look, it's kind of being drawn that way. Do you guys see that? Or maybe it just needs to lean to one of the two sides. Maybe that's the problem. And before it was kind of in this no man's land in the middle, not really doing anything. So if I push it over here, okay, it doesn't want to go that way for some reason. Does it want to go over here? Well, it's kind of already over there. Okay, regardless, if you can see, every time I like touch it or kind of press on it, it's enough to trigger it. So anyway, I kind of feel like this destination's a bit cursed. I'm going to move on, however, because I have a ton more items I want to unbox in the second part of this video. So sorry if you weren't really interested in this little bit of an update, but I wanted to give an update nonetheless because I had so much trouble with this in the first video. So anyway, that's the grain loader. I got it to work. I'm still trying to figure out why or where the manual release is on this little car. But anyway, let's move these things aside. Let's kind of leave that in the past because honestly that was a really dark part of my past that I'm trying to forget. And let's move on to our first item in the second part of this mass unboxing video. Let's kick things off with a very simple item so that we don't have any more issues like we've had in the past. This is a 2-pack called Celebration Salty, and basically it comes with a CGI version of Salty. He's looking a little bit cross-eyed there. But it looks like he has some oil, something sticky on him, along with some streamers and confetti, and then he also comes with a confetti car itself. So this is based on an actual episode. I do not know the name of the episode off the top of my head, but I'm sure the people in the comments are writing it right away, and I'll know it by the time this video is uploaded. So this is from 2013. I do remember this was, part of like the first wave of Mattel items that came out around that time. And as you can see up here, there's a little bit of a price tag. I bought this for $18 at a train show that I went to a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I mentioned that in the first part of the video or not. I want to say I did, but in case I didn't, I went to a train show. Somebody there, I should say, was selling some Thomas items, and they had that listed for $18, which I thought was a pretty good deal considering it's retired and you can no longer get it. And back in the day when it was available like at Toys R Us for something, it probably was a $25 item. So as you can see there, I tried to use the little flap they included on some of these things, but it's not working out too well. So I'll just tear it apart like I normally do. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at this. I was gonna say, is this removable? It's not. So you know what this is like? For anybody out there who is familiar with or collects the Day Out with Thomas cars, this is, I'm guessing it's a repaint of the 2015 Day Out with Thomas car. I hope that's the right year. I have one. It's not in front of me though, but it's basically or I should say the 2015 Day Out with Thomas car is a repaint of this because this came first. And I think even that one had confetti in it. And I want to say it's the 2015 one because I remember that year was the Celebration tour, and that would make sense with the party decorations and stuff. So here we go. This is the confetti car. There's, nice detailing on the side here. Soda or party supply. There's sort of like an interactive feature. You can spin the confetti and like the party stuff around inside. This has a very, I don't know, like a very Thomas Wood feel to it, however. I guess I was never like, you know, this wasn't an item that I really ever wanted. So I never noticed that, you know, this is very much like Thomas Wood, I should say, even though it predates that by like 5 years or so. But here's kind of the interesting part. Here's the Salty. He's known as Celebration Salty, and he looks like a normal CGI Salty to me, although my CGI Salty has much bigger pupils, I know that for sure. Like I said, this is based off of an episode, but I don't do any research before making these videos, so I can't tell you the episode. But if you want to know the episode, just look in the comments, because I'm sure people have already typed it out, and it's available basically waiting for you. So, nice detailing. It's interesting, though, it's only on the front half of Salty here. I'll have to go back once I figure out what episode this is from. I'll have to go back. Did he get any of this oil? I'm guessing that's oil. I hope I'm right. If I'm not, everybody's going to freak out, but did he not get any oil on this back part of him, or did this accident thing only happen, you know, before the cab area? So is that just, you know, lazy by Mattel, or is that actually correct? I'd be curious as to, you know, the actual, based on the actual episode that this is from. So Salty looks good. I just never had any desire to pick this up because, for one, in 2013 I was using my old Learning Curve Salty. I've just recently switched over to the Mattel CGI version. And two, I didn't really have a use for this Sodor confetti car. However, I will let you guys in on a little secret. After this video, I'm sending this to a good friend of mine named Enterprising Engine 93, and he needs this for something. I don't know what he needs it for, but he contacted me and asked me if I had one of these, and I was like, you won't believe what I just bought at a train show the other day. So I'm actually going to ship this to him, and he needs it for some reason. So hopefully, one day or another, a video will pop up on his channel featuring this car, and hopefully, this is to Enterprising Engine 93 himself, hopefully I'll get this back in the mail, because I do have an idea or two that I could use this in my series. So interestingly, oh, I guess it's not that interestingly, I was going to look at the packaging, because I want to say on some specific prototypes of this, the wheels were green. I hope I'm not imagining that, but I think I want to say, you know what, I still have some of the items from the, you know, the previous unboxing video that I did. Here's a pamphlet from, who was it from? Green Salty. I want to say this was featured in this, and if it's not, well then I just wasted a whole bunch of time. Doesn't look like it. Nope. Okay, sorry about that. But anyway, I've seen pictures of this, I swear. I've seen prototype pictures of this where I think the artwork was a little different, but it had like bright green wheels. And I think they did the right change by kind of matching the wheels to Salty. I think it just looks better overall. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the Celebration Salty 2-pack. I obviously have many different ideas where I can use this in my series, but be sure to check out Enterprising Engine 93's channel, because he needs this for some top secret project he's working on that I don't know anything about. So Enterprising Engine 93, I'm going to send this to you in just a bit, and in the meantime, let's move on to our next item in this mass unboxing video. It's time to go big or go home. What do you say? Let's take a look at this massive destination. It's called the Rumbling Bridge. This is a Fisher-Price or Mattel product, and this will be a very interesting unboxing because we need a screwdriver to get this out of here. The Rumbling Bridge has been, you know, redesigned and refeatured for a number of years. It was originally a Learning Curve product, and it's seen several incarnations, but I do want to point out something. This came from TJ Maxx / Marshalls / I think this actually came from Home Goods. Look at that though, $8 for this destination that probably went for about $50 back in the Toys R Us days. So yeah, I really didn't have a need for this item, honestly, but how can you resist an $8 like fully blown bridge? So I'm As you can see, I have no self-control when it comes to buying these types of destinations. I mean, that's a good deal. I don't care who you are, $8. So let's say, I mean, I'm pretty sure this was around $50 or so. Maybe 40 if we're generous. Probably 45. I just want to round it up to 50 because I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So let's say it was 50. Oh, I'm moving the green mat here. This is kind of it's being really challenging so far. Let's say it was $50 and now it's 8. That's, you know, like 6 times 8 is 48. So we're basically getting this for 5/6 off, which is a really bad way to explain the discount I'm getting. But basically it's like over 80%, which is pretty incredible. And there's just a crazy amount of tape on this. Okay, I just want to get this out of the box. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, okay, so instead of, I was trying to slide it out of the box like I thought you were supposed to, and instead I basically just ripped the outside carcass of the box apart. So that was great. That was well worth, you know, the 2 minutes I've already wasted. Anyway, we do get some extra pieces in here. Maybe I should do that first. Oh, sorry if I hit the camera there. Wow, this unboxing video, I tell you. Okay, so I think, are these gonna come out easy or no? No, doesn't look like it. So the track pieces are secured in there. They're on the other side of this. Wow, just a lot of tape on this for some reason. Let me bring out my scissors. I know I tried to, you know, include a variety of items in these unboxing videos, but unboxing engines and rolling stock is so much easier than these big ones. Ugh. But I get it. People want to see, you know, a variety of things. So we got 2 pieces of ascending track, and do you see what's wrong with them? We got some blue. What is that? I want to say that just rubbed off from the packaging. You know, this is from early, you know, this is from, I'd say 2013, 2014. So hopefully you guys can see that blue in there. Anyway, I have a ton of these ascending pieces of track. That's probably like my most common piece, besides like a curve or something like that. So we have some blue, looks like blue spray paint, but that's really not what it is. Actually, I don't know if this is from 2013 because the back side of this, if it was from that era, should have road on it, but it doesn't. Anyway, I do always need more male adapters. Okay, let's take a look at the bottom of the box real quick. Well, it says 2013. Oh, look, there's this nice, I think that's how you're supposed to unbox it. Anyway, I kind of go for the guerrilla tactic where you just, you know, just start tearing things apart and hope it works out. Yeah, it's dated 2013. That's interesting. Oh, well. So we have half the unboxing done. I'm going to have to unscrew these at the bottom. So this says you're supposed to turn it. And what was it called? Was it called the rumbling bridge? Okay. It's been called a couple of different things. There was a version of this which actually swung around, which was actually pretty cool. I want to say it was called like the sling bridge. That's not the official name. But this section up here would actually spin around, and it had little stop signs hanging down. So if an engine wanted to pass here or here, the bridge actually had to swing. And I remember that was from like 2006, 2007. And I remember thinking, oh man, you could have so many accidents happen there. So pretty detailed, with the exception of right there, but this whole thing's plastic up here. So you're supposed to turn this, maybe like prep it. Oh. Is that how it's supposed to work? So an engine comes along and hits this, and I guess it triggers the rumbling effect. I'm guessing that's the whole point of that. So, ooh, again, this might be a little bit challenging. Oh no, we got it. Okay. We got one screw done. Here's the other one. I know it's extremely boring looking at this blank piece of cardboard, But just give me a few more seconds and we will put this together. I think it got, yep. Okay, there we go. That's the whole thing. Oops, I dropped one of the screw pieces. All right, here is the bridge and it's non-cardboard prison. Ooh, this feels really loose. Is it supposed to be like that? I mean, I get this part moving. I think, okay, hopefully that's hopefully that's part of the toy design. It is the rumbling bridge after all, but I picked it up and I saw, you know, these sides over here shaking, and I got really nervous and I was like, it feels like it's going to fall apart on me. So this bridge has a couple of different ways you can play. You have this main bridge area up here, which you're supposed to put these ascending pieces of track like that. And then you have sort of two, I picture them as like main line routes on the bottom there. So yeah, you got a couple of different options here, which is nice. It's always a great thing when destinations give you those options. It's weird, you know, I said the detailing on this was good, but they put the detailing on like the smallest parts. Okay, so I was looking at this earlier, it kind of stood out to me as like a non-Thomas sign. 6.25 meters, and then that on the bottom, the 20 in the dash, stands for 20 feet 6 inches. That's a really, I don't know, you very rarely see like actual railway warnings on these types of toys. You would just expect to see like a warning bridge sign, not like actual measurements. So for standard gauge engines, if there's a train buff out there, for standard gauge engines, like on the island of Sodor, for example, is it like a 20-foot clearance for, you know, American people and then 6.25 meters for the rest of the world? Would that make sense? That's really interesting. I mean, it's a great piece of realistic detail if it happens to be right. Okay, like, yeah, this is what I would expect. You kind of see the bridge. I thought that was a telephone at first. And then we just got a door over here, but then we got this whole area on the inside with no detailing, and then this area over here, which you can argue and say, oh, but you know, that's supposed to be there, so you don't really see this. Well, the problem is, you know, your bridge doesn't automatically have to go from this level all the way down right away. You can keep it elevated if you have some of those pieces. So I don't know, I'd love to, this item would have been much better if we had some detailing on this side. But anyway, really nice so far. I feel like I've said this over and over, but this is not an item I picked up back in stores during its heyday. The only reason I picked it up is because it was ridiculously cheap, and I just thought I'd try it out. And the rumbling bridge itself, it has been through so many redesigns. So the concept's not really new, but I mean, and I get part of the playability and the feature with this is how, you know, kind of rickety and shaky it is, but it feels like a very loose, discombobulated toy, like it's gonna fall apart on me. So there's that element to it. But overall, very nice. A lot of plastic used, like this whole part's plastic, all this is plastic. So if you're a hardcore Thomas Wooden Railway purist from the 1990s, you probably won't like this toy, but just as a toy meant to entertain kids, there's definitely an element here. So I guess the more you wind it up and then an engine comes along and runs into this, then it's gonna rumble more. Or you can just, because this is, you know, so well put together in a way, at the same time it's not that well put together because it's shaky, you can just do the rumbling effects by yourself. So I think that's how I would do it. I would even spend the time turning this around and prepping it. I would just, an engine comes along and boom, we got serious trouble going on. There's like an earthquake on Sodor. So anyway, that is the rumbling bridge. There's like an elevated portion, and then what I think of as like a main line portion underneath, where you can have two lines running side by side. Super interesting, and since I only paid $8 for it, I'm really happy. So I got some clearing off to do. And by the way, you also got two pieces of ascending track, except mine got some blue paint on them or something, and also a male-to-male adapter, if you forgot about that. So I got some cleaning off to do. Give me just 1 second and I'll be right back. So if you remember during the first part of this unboxing video, I unboxed the Fossil Discovery Destination, which had to do with Tale of the Brave. Now let's take a look at a 3-pack that's from the same movie. This is called James's Roaring Delivery. And I want to say, since it's from Tale of the Brave, it's from 2014. Yes, it is, 2014. So I got this item at a store called Tuesday Morning. Yes, Tuesday Morning is the actual name of the store. It's kind of bizarre, but like TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Marshalls, it's a discount store where basically stuff that didn't sell at like a normal retailer goes to die almost unless it gets picked up. And they actually, it depends on the time of year, they actually have a decent amount of Thomas stuff, specifically, excuse me, Thomas Wooden Railway. They actually kind of focus on that, I would say. So, this was, I found this in a number of Tuesday Morning stores, and I got this for $19.99, compare at $35, which is accurate because I think back when this was at Toys R Us, it was $34.99 or so. $20 right there isn't bad, but then like a week later I went in and it had already been dropped to $14.99. And I misplaced this receipt, otherwise I would have returned it and then bought it again, you know, to save some money. But at that point I was like, you know what, that's just way too much trouble. So, yeah, Tuesday Morning can kind of be hit or miss. They had a lot of the take and play items when Adventures was first introduced. That's where all of the take and play stuff went, was Tuesday Morning. Whereas, at least around where I live, TJ Maxx and Marshalls, they'll have some take and play stuff, but they'll mostly have wooden, and then Home Goods is almost all wooden, from what I've been able to tell, which is kind of interesting. And surprisingly, no Trackmaster. I have yet to find any Trackmaster stuff in those types of stores. So apparently, Trackmaster does okay enough that they don't need to, you know, send it to those discount stores. So here we go. Here's the 3-pack. In and of itself, looks really cool so far. I think we got some directions here. Yeah, this is how to change the battery in this. I kind of glazed over it. In this compartment right here, there was an opening where you could actually move this back and forth. Yeah, let's take a look at this first. Let's kind of do this in inverse order. So this is known as the Roaring Dino Car from the Sodor Dinosaur exhibit. And let's listen closely. Oh, it just locked on me. So, I think the funny part about this is that it's obviously a dinosaur skeleton, but it's like, oh, it's alive. Which I guess that's why the name of this is called James's Roaring Delivery. I'm pretty sure this isn't based off of a scene from Tale of the Brave. I think I would have remembered that. It's weird, like, I kind of see how it sounds like roaring, but it sounds like heavy breathing to me, like, you know, the dinosaur's about to sneeze or something. But I think maybe that's because this is like, you know, 4 or 5 years old, and I'm actually surprised it still works. So this whole part here is very reminiscent of like a boxcar or an animal car, something like that, with a sliding door feature. But since there's this interaction here, this part where it makes noise, this whole area is plastic, and the chassis feels plastic. No, that's wood. Although we got some glue here. You guys see that? We got some glue going on. Oh well, I'll have to come along and fix that. But that's the Roaring Dino Car, for anybody curious. And then, let's take a look at Dino James and Dino James's Tender. At least they put the different names on the bottom. So this James is actually pretty cool. Really nice detailing on the side here. Looks like an animal, maybe that Triceratops that was in that dinosaur car, has come along and basically walked all over James. That's just really cool. And you can argue, oh, it's not very realistic, but we have to remember this is a child's toy. I'm seeing something really interesting here. Do you see this shiny part? Right where the cab starts? That looks like glue. You see that? Uh-oh. What's been going on here? I can't pull it apart. That looks like glue to me. So I wonder if this fell apart during like the assembly process and they just like hastily put it back together, but either way, that's super interesting. I think one problem I have with this is that we have all these, you know, dirty dinosaur footsteps all over James, but nothing right here. This area is way too clean for my liking. It stands out. It's like, okay, you know, we got dirt and dust and debris all over him, and then we got this nice shiny part that basically looks like it's untouched. So, I wonder why they left that open. Maybe with this angle here, it was too hard to put the added details on them. Kind of weird. Anyway, still looks really nice. And then James is tender. They just went all out with this. I wonder if the dinosaur design or details, is it all random? Or, you know, if you looked at this exact product twice, would all of this appear the same? I'm guessing it would appear the same. Anyway, though, yeah, really nice. So you can argue and say, oh, it's not realistic. It didn't appear in the Tale of the Brave movie, but considering this is a kid's toy, the detailing on this is really, really nice. And they were even dedicated enough to name it Dino James. So this actually has a name. It's not just like some random version of James that goes unnamed. So maybe could have, what really would have made this item awesome is like a shocked face or a surprise face, because obviously something has attacked James. I doubt he would be smiling like he is right now. So that's just a personal critique. That would have really blown this out of the water, and we know the people behind Thomas can do shocked James faces, or like an angry face or something like that. You know, it can happen. So that's another 3-pack. We got James and his tender, and then the roaring dino car. There it is all put together. And kind of like the salty 2-pack, you know, I think the red on this and the red here is intentional. It's supposed to, you know, make it look really nice. So overall, I really like that 3-pack. Again, wasn't something that I needed to have back when it was in stores, but since it was on basically clearance, decided to pick it up. Although this glue around sort of the end of the boiler, beginning of the cab is a bit concerning. I wonder what happened there. Man, it goes all the way down to the bottom. Maybe I should have returned this for another one. I think I definitely missed my opportunity there. Oh well, looks nice regardless. I'll try to think of an episode where I can include this in. But anyway, that's Dino James. Dino James is tender. And the roaring dino car. Yep, roaring dino car. There you go. I guess I'll move on to the next item. Bye guys, I'll see you back in just a bit. Let's unbox another easy item. This is Rheneas. It's the newer style of Rheneas made by Fisher-Price or Mattel. And I'm a big proponent of saying that the old version of Rheneas by Learning Curve, the very first one, is the best version of Rheneas by far. However, this one, even though Rheneas' shape is a little skewed, I think it does a pretty good job. It's much better than that very weird, like maroon colored one with the white wheels back in the Learning Curve days. So I got this at TJ Maxx for $6.99. Which is about pretty much half price, you know, compared to like a full-on, you know, painted ThomasWoodenRailway toy at another location. So I do have 2 of these. I'm going to keep one in the box, and this is the unlucky one, or lucky, whichever way you want to view it. This is the one that gets to be unboxed for this video. So Rheneas' face, wow, does he have hair on him already? That was interesting. Rheneas' face doesn't look too bad. It looks very similar to his CGI face. However, just in general, I'm not a big fan of that face. So kind of a double whammy there. Like, it looks like it does on TV, but that doesn't mean I think the one on TV looks good. For somewhere along the line, Rheneas kind of got chunky, and he's got really big cheekbones for some reason. So looking at this on the side, the lining's a little bit messed up. It's a little bit crooked. Although at this point it's like, you know what? Are we surprised by anything nowadays? This one's a lot better. That top line kind of started to cut up a little bit. Yeah, to me it looks a little bit crooked. So I'm a big proponent or a big fan of that very first version of Rheneas that was sold by Learning Curve, even though the shade, the color isn't 100% correct. I take that awesome shape over anything like this. Although this isn't a bad model of Rheneas at all. I just feel like, you know, when you look at a picture of Rheneas, he looks nothing, I mean, you know, his proportions are all out of whack. And I don't know if we'll ever get another version of Rheneas in any form of merchandise that looks halfway decent. Which is kind of a shame because Rheneas is one of my favorite characters, and it'd be nice to give him justice with a really nice, you know, with some really nice toys. Accurate toys, nonetheless. But hey, that's Rheneas. Don't have any intentions on introducing this model into my series right now. I'm really content with the one that I've been praising throughout this video. I really think that's the best one out there by far. The face is good, like I said. It's just, you know, I'm not a huge fan of that face in general, but, you know, based on what you see on TV, the face is good. However, the proportions and the sizing is not good. So, if we ever got Duncan, or if we ever got merchandise of Duncan, he'd probably look the same way, just really weird and, you know, satisfactory. That's what I give this toy. It's satisfactory. It does the job. Some kid looks at it and it's obviously Rheneas, but compared to what he looks like on the big screen, there's some work for improvement, definitely. So that's 2013 Rheneas. Let me look at the packaging really quick. Is it it's actually dated 2012 over there, which means it was, you know, part of that first wave of Mattel stuff that came out in early 2013. So there you go. That's Rheneas. Thanks for stopping by, Rheneas, and let's move on to our next item. Alright, this is going to be a fun one. It's another huge destination that we get to unbox. This is the Smelting Yard from the Learning Curve era. A very weird and kind of random destination. Considering we never really got like a scrapyard destination, you know, wouldn't that have been in like an awesome set to get like a scrapyard set and get a couple of really cool buildings? I guess the Smelter's Yard is, you know, the closest we're going to come to that. So this was sold for a very limited time in the early 2000s. You know, this to me has the makings from something around like the introduction of the road era, like early 2000s, and there were just so many parts and pieces being released at the same time that, you know, you couldn't really keep up with it. So I got this item off of eBay for about $50 total, which included shipping. I actually got, you know, it wasn't a bid. Actually, no, it was a bid. But I was the only, it was, you know, it was a bid type of item. It wasn't like a buy it now. Wow, this looks really cool. But I was the only bidder, and it was about $25, but then it cost about $25 to ship. And I got to turn it sideways because it's hard to see, but that price tag, the seller, wherever he bought it, looks like he bought it for $59, so he might have lost money on that ordeal. But let me take this out of the packaging, because that's the whole point of this video. Let's see, we got a flap here. It's gonna, I'm not really focused on keeping this outer packaging just because it's open, and you know, once this is gone, it'll look really weird. So sorry if you were expecting me to, you know, preserve this. Ooh, this is looking nice though. Let's see what we got. I wonder where people find all of this old stuff, to be honest. Like, does it just sit around at a hobby store forever, or did this person buy this back in the early 2000s with the intention of reselling it 15 years later and making a nice profit, or what? So, oh yes, we do have some. Oh no, that's a cargo car. I thought those were the screws to the bottom of the destination. That is an interesting place to put a cargo car. Wow, how about that? Okay, we got some like zip ties in there we're going to have to get undone. Like I said earlier, I know everybody, you want to see all different types of merchandise unboxed, but these buildings are just the toughest. But hey, I guess, you know, the reward is bigger. You get a nice big building, a nice big destination than a wimpy little train. Product instruction guide. That's something you don't see nowadays. So it came with Oliver. Did we get an Oliver character card? It doesn't look like it. But yeah, how about that? That was a point I was going to make. What a twisted destination to feature Oliver in. The Smelter's Yard, where he almost got scrapped. Oh, we got something else in here. So I tore off, or I took off, that area where the cargo car was kind of smashed in. And I'm looking on the inside. So the cargo car was there. And here are pieces of scrap, of smelter's material. On the box it said something. Contains smelting yard, Oliver, 2 cargo pieces on a cargo car. So I guess they are just calling these cargo pieces. They don't look as long as regular cargo though. But they have a really cool design. So I can't wait to get that out of the packaging. So we don't have screws, but these are really tight. I don't know if I can get my scissors under that. Is that, it's been glued. What's with the glue? Okay, so this is kind of, I can't even get my scissors under that. Maybe, actually, hold on. Oh, sorry, I bumped the camera. Maybe just a little bit more. There we go. Nope, I don't have enough leverage on my end. There we go. So maybe we will get this out of here. When I first saw that, I was like, no way. Oh, cool. All right. And then I guess I'll need to undo this too, because that is what is keeping Oliver in. Where's the tape? I'm thinking maybe I could just rip that out if I tried really hard. So this should pop out, right? Oh, maybe not. Do I need to? I just realized this whole thing is glued in. Well, this can come off this way. Oh, cool. There we go. Cool. Now we should be free, right? Oh, wait, I'm feeling it pull at the back. Oh, no, it was just kind of stuck in there. This, however, wow, that's just all glued in there. So we have the scrapyard destination out. I guess all of this is just extra protection. I just want to make sure there's no hidden compartments or anything. No, I'm not going to mess around with that. But we do need to get Oliver out of here. Like I said, I'm just going to pull really hard. There you go. It's funny, the way this came off like this. I've actually seen Oliver sold like this on eBay. Just straight up like this in his little protection cell here. Okay, so that destination involved a lot of trash. By the way, here's the box, the outer shell of the box. What year was this from? It wasn't sold for very long. This is saying 2004 at the top there, which is a little bit later than I would have given it. Very interesting. Okay. Actually, I might keep this outer box because it didn't get torn to pieces like I thought it would. So, got a couple of different things here. I'll probably lower the camera. I gotta pick up the trash though. That was a bit messy. So let's see. Let's take a look at the actual smelting yard building. Maybe it doesn't come across on screen. It's a bit dusty because this part was exposed. So let's see. Good detail and artwork on the back here. This whole part is plastic. Okay, we got a lever going on there. Uh-oh. Was I not supposed to do that? Okay, I'm guessing you're supposed to put the cargo piece up here and it slides down kind of prepped and ready. We got some gears on the side. Okay, and then we got still more artwork, but this is a great looking like industrial building, which not a whole lot of those were made. Okay, look at that cool sign. Danger, claw in action. That looks like the claw that nearly got Stepney in that one season 5 episode with Ari and Bert. So I probably should look at this, the smelting yard. Oh, we do get a character card. Awesome, if I can pick it up. Wow, it's really thin. For people who have character cards, the later ones from like 2007, 2008 were really thick. like, you know, you could barely bend them. This one is paper thin. I feel like I could tear it. So what is Oliver's excellent description here? Oliver works happily on Duck's branch line, sporting a new coat of paint of which he is very proud. Luckily, Oliver and his brake van Toad were saved from scrap by Douglas, and they are very grateful. That's actually not the worst one. For some reason, later, the descriptions got all weird and just random and poor grammar and all that. So the box says this is 2004. I will briefly open up this. Wow, that's big. Briefly open up this pamphlet, all of the cool things you used to be able to buy. There is that set I was referencing with the grain loader, the lift and load set. And what's funny is that that set was sold for a number of years after the grain loader was discontinued, so I believe the only way to get the grain loader then was to purchase the set, and that was a really expensive set, like hundreds of dollars. Let's see what else we got here. So yeah, around 2004, we're looking at the limited edition vehicles, which I took a look at. Also, Emily, Murdoch, Spencer. Definitely, you know, what is this, season 7? This is definitely an era, like a changing of the guard era for Thomas and Friends. You can see the smelting yard right there. A lot of like the new lights and, yeah, sights and sounds or lights and sounds destinations were being introduced. Yeah, just lots of memories. Lots of memories. And I keep all of these old pamphlets and everything. I don't chuck them away or anything like that. Although I'll chuck this one off to the side because I want to get on with the rest of the video. So it came with a cargo car, which is nice. But then again, these cargo cars are the most unoriginal pieces of rolling stock ever. And this one, I mean, it's all black. You know, it doesn't even say like smelter's car or anything like that. So this is pretty forgettable. But nonetheless, I'm grateful it was included. I've just accumulated so many of them that, you know, you kind of begin to appreciate the specialized pieces of merchandise a little bit more. Okay, so these pieces of cargo are very, very different to anything I've ever seen before. They are made out of some really interesting material. It looks like hard plastic, but it's designed to represent scrap. And the previous pieces of scrap that I have are in like a triangular shape, and these are just rectangular. However, if you'll notice, they are not your standard size of cargo. A normal piece of cargo would be a little bit wider and much longer, but you can't stick them sideways, so then you're kind of stuck in this awkward area. This would be a nice package that like the lorries could pull in their you know, in their truck bed area. Here's the second piece. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same, but it's a very odd type of piece with very strange dimensions. I wonder why. I'm guessing it has something to do with this since you insert in everything, but I'm wondering why they couldn't have just made it standardized so that it fits everything else out there, but who knows. Finally, let's take Oliver out of here. And I believe this version of Oliver is a little bit different to the one that I have, that I used in my series for so many years. Because yes, he has painted eyes. On those old learning curve items from, you know, the 90s, most of the engines, in fact, like all of the engines, didn't have painted eyes. They obviously had painted pupils, but the area behind their eyes was just the same kind of white material that their face is made out of. But you can actually see, or hopefully you can see, you know, Oliver's eyes are actually painted. And I believe this version of Oliver is a bit rare with the painted eyes. I'm not up to date on my rare Thomas and Friends items though. I'm guessing he's dated 2003, yep. But he has that thicker style of name on the bottom, which is interesting. Okay, so that is the supposedly rare painted eye version of Oliver, whatever you want to call them. I don't know if it's rare, for example. I just know a whole lot of them, you know, weren't made like this. So I've kind of covered everything except how to work this product instruction guide. I guess it's pretty complex if they need to include instructions. Place the cargo into cargo loader, slide lever to the left, sound will activate. Ooh, I don't remember hearing a sound. I bet the batteries are junk. Or are they turned off? No, man, this is dusty. Wow. No, so the batteries, I don't think are working, no. It's weird, I have some batteries next to me, maybe, just maybe. Okay, I can't even get my screwdriver in there to turn. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, the problem is this lever. There we go, okay. Sorry, you couldn't really see it, it was a bit out of frame, but once you move the lever in, you hit this. Wow, this is, it's just old. You know, it kind of feels like it's been played with. It obviously hasn't, but like now the roof's a little bit jammed. Okay, now you see the gears working. I was asking how the gears worked. So let's see. So I'm guessing the reason the cargo pieces are this particular length is so that they fit in like this. There we go, a little bit of a tight fit. So you guys see that. Slides in, hit the roof. It's jamming on me though. Wow. Okay, shove that back. There we go, that was quick. Hopefully you guys caught that. So yeah, you know, I flipped this open and basically this hunk of scrap just comes shooting out. Let's see that. If I leave this open and move that, oh yep, it's prepped. And then this, which is just really weird. There you go. Okay, so hopefully you guys kind of got a idea of what happens. I want to say this is supposed to make noise. It's very similar to like the iron, I don't know, it's a Mattel piece. It's like a very small building. In fact, if you guys know what building I'm talking about, it's from the Mattel era. It has like a little lava bucket. This is a very similar destination, minus the roof, but there's like this tipping bucket, and minus this area right here. It looks very, very similar. There's even a place to put like your iron cargo, for example. So that just came to me as I was doing this review. Very, very interesting piece. Definitely a lot more plastic, you know, than what would be deemed acceptable by, you know, 1990s Thomas Wooden Railway standards. But this is nice. It's just old and it doesn't really work super well. Can I really not get in here? I'd love to switch the batteries out so we could hear. No, I'm afraid if I keep trying to turn it, I'm gonna strip the screw, and I don't have another screwdriver near me. Well, that's a shame. It's really dirty though. So the batteries are just worn out because it was switched to on when it came out of the box. I bet though when you move this, I think the directions said when you, let's see, when you slide lever to the left to insert cargo into the smelting yard, sound will activate. Press and hold roof to charge cargo piece. It literally says to charge the cargo piece. That's a weird way to put that. For a full charge, hold roof down until bell rings. Wow, there's a whole lot of lights and sounds with this. Release the roof and cargo springs out into the waiting cargo. So I guess you're supposed to hold this down and then it's supposed to release. That makes a little bit more sense. And since I've been doing this a little bit more, it's loosened up a bit. The problem is you need three AA batteries. Battery tips. To conserve batteries, turn product off when not in use. Replace batteries. Do not charge non-rechargeable batteries. That sort of thing. Okay. I do have some AAA batteries next to me, so I was really hoping if I opened it up, I'd stick them in and we could get this to work, but I don't have another screwdriver with me. I'm sure somebody else has done a review on this on YouTube, and sounds like the sounds and features of this item are really cool. Overall, though, it's dirty. I'm going to need to clean it up. Overall, this is a really nice piece. Got some nice detailing here, even though it's plastic. I mean, like, you know, the gauges and stuff. Very, very nice. And the gears that move. I really don't want to press that down in case it jams again. But this is super, super nice. So I don't really even consider this to be like the highest quality learning curve stuff that they did, but even so, it's still really, really nice. And I think that's kind of what we miss about Learning Curve is even like their not so good stuff was still pretty good when you think about it. So yeah, that was very enlightening. It's been a while since I've, unboxed a really big destination from another era that wasn't Mattel. So I think I'm going to move everything into the trash pile over here that just keeps growing and growing. A quick summary. The smelting yard destination piece, which is really awesome. It's a big, nice, almost factory looking building. We got a cool version of Oliver here. We got a kind of useless scrap car, but then we got these two very unique smelting pieces, scrap pieces, whatever you want to call them. So that is the smelting yard destination, dated 2004. Oops, dropped one of those. And it came with Oliver and a cargo car. Pretty neat if you ask me. So before my next item, I want to touch on something really briefly. I actually made a mistake in the beginning of the first part of the video where I was showing off all of the different items I was going to unbox. This is Jack, and the reason I have a second version of Jack is because if you watch my series and you kind of notice this really weird thing about that version of Jack is it's a little bit crooked. His bucket area, his front loader, it's a bit crooked. So I bought a second one hoping that it would be normal and that I could replace that version of Jack in my series. Turns out this version is also crooked. So I don't know why, maybe that was a super common problem with these Jacks. So since it's kind of not what I wanted, I'm just gonna keep it in the box, nothing wrong with that. But instead, I'm not gonna shortchange you guys on, keeping something in the box. I'm actually going to unbox this version of Thomas, which is the it's dated 2016, but it's basically the 2017 version of Thomas. I got this at a train show a couple weeks ago. And in my previous mass unboxing video, which was about a year ago, I looked at this version of Thomas, but I kept it in the box because it was a very dark time in the Thomas Wooden Railway land of toys, because I thought this was the end of the world with the smaller face. I just don't think that face looks very good. Compared to the face that came before, it doesn't look good. So I kept that one in the box, and then I later made a video about all the different types of Thomas Wooden Railway packaging we've had over the years. But I did pick up another one of these so that I could take it out of the box. So here's that version of Thomas. Still not a big fan of the face, but compared to what came after this, which is Thomas Wood, I would take this over and over forever. I really would. The face is, it's okay. It's not great though. However, I'm noticing some glue back there. You guys see that? What is going on? That is now the second Mattel item I've looked at in this video alone that has obviously been glued back together. You can really see it on this side. And I was noticing, look at all this. Really poor quality work so far. This is not normal. Yeah, that's a bit disappointing. The good news is, if there is any good news, is that I wasn't intending on using this Thomas for anything important. It was mostly just to have as a reference point from this era of Thomas toys, but you can see glue back there. You see that shiny stuff back there? That's glue. And overall, this just has a very different feel to a Thomas model from like Mattel's first year in 2013. Which is hard to believe. There was definitely a quality drop somewhere along the line. You can really feel it here. That's like excess plastic that is just there. Okay, that's really unfortunate, but it's kind of sad. I've just kind of come to a point where it's like, you know what? I should really just be expecting this stuff to happen. Really disappointing, but you know what? It's just a toy train, and like I said, I wasn't going to use this for anything important, so. That is the 2017 version of Thomas, which wasn't around for super long because then Thomas Wood came along and took us all by surprise. But anyway, it's just nice to have one of these. Yeah, that's the 2017 version of Thomas. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm kind of in the middle where it's like, you know what, it used to be better, but I would take this over the non-painted Thomas Wood stuff any day for sure. So not to disappoint anybody again, but I have another talking Thomas Wooden Railway item that's not going to talk for us. This is the Sodor Celebration Caboose. I got this many, many months ago, and the reason it was on sale, was basically on clearance at this store that I went to, was because it no longer works. But it has that very old Thomas & Friends Wooden Railway packaging, which is from the Learning Curve era, and this is dated 2010, so it's actually a couple of years old. It says it's a limited edition, but really, I really don't think it's a limited edition. You could classify anything you ever wanted as a limited edition. So let's take this out of the box. Like I said, it's not going to talk for us, but it's better than nothing. So there's all that. So there have been a couple versions of like talking cabooses. I don't think I've ever picked one up before though. So it's Sodor Celebration. The speaker there is right above the banner, which I think is like a key feature. The button is on top. They did a nice job of blending it in as best they could. Kind of a mirror image on the other side. And it's known as the Sodor Day Caboose, or this, I thought this said Sodor Celebration Caboose. Well, which one is it? It doesn't really matter. And then these are instructions on how to change the batteries, but you need one of those button batteries, those really, really small ones that Totally Thomastown sent me in that unboxing video that I did. So I'll have to pull some of those out and get this thing working. But yeah, there's, you know, screws on the bottom so that you can come in and make the change. That's the problem with this talking stuff, is that either kids will come along in store and press the button repeatedly and kill it that way, or just age will get to the batteries and it'll stop working altogether. So I'm looking at this to try to see what's wood and what's plastic. This top part here, if you want to follow my finger, this top part here, this is all plastic. And then there's a little bit of an L right below the window. It goes off this way and it goes off this way. And that's plastic as well. But this part right here is actually wood. It feels like wood, but this bottom part, that's plastic. This is plastic down here, but then this top part is actually wood. However, the main centerpiece of this item, which is this, is definitely plastic. So overall, not a bad item. The packaging said it sings the Thomas & Friends theme song, so even if it did play, I probably wouldn't press the button just so because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Just a very different era of Thomas & Friends toys. I know there's a wood toy with the birthday cake that talks, but I think, you know, our days of seeing, you know, Thomas and Gordon and Spencer and Hero and Diesel 10 all talking and rolling and whistling, I think those days are kind of behind us, and I'm actually kind of glad because I always thought those items were super repetitive. But nonetheless, you know, this item stands out because of this nice big yellow banner that says Sodor Celebration, and the fact that it says Sodor Celebration, which sounds very vague, is actually a good thing because it can be a birthday, it can be a celebration, it can be a holiday, it can be, I don't know, just any type of, it can be Educating Gordon Day, whatever you want it to be. So the fact that it's vague actually makes it really, really nice. So overall, very nice. I have a ton of these cabooses, but I'm always looking for more because, you know, you always, you know, the more pieces of rolling stock you get, the more trains, the more cabooses you need for those trains. So really happy to have this in my collection, and I got it for less than $10 because the battery wasn't working. So really happy about that. And again, it's from 2010, I want to say. So there it is, folks, the Sodor Celebration Caboose. Sorry that the sound isn't working, but hopefully that doesn't detract from this video that much. We've got another destination to unbox, although it's not as big as the other ones. This is the coal loader, which is in a much smaller box compared to those other destinations we've looked at. I have always wanted the coal loader. I got the big, huge coal station a number of years ago, but I've always been missing just the simple coal loader. And I'm really happy to have this in my collection. So let's get this unboxed. This came from eBay, and I want to say after I bought it, I sure hope I looked in here and made sure everything was accounted for. So there is the box, and okay, that fell apart pretty nicely. We got a pamphlet. Let me check the box and see what year we were looking at for this. Let's see, in the corner here, 2003. I was kind of presuming 2005. The coal rumbles and it shakes. And it's really nice that they included Edward on the packaging here. So overall, super nice and a very like squarish box. So the pamphlet, I don't think I'll go into the pamphlet because a lot of the pamphlets from these eras are pretty much the same. But nonetheless, they gave me a pamphlet, which is super nice. So let's take a look at this coal loader. It looks really tall, but that's because I'm really, really close to this, basically the surface. So let me bring back Oliver to give you guys sort of a perspective. So that's what it looks like. It's still tall, but I think I didn't want it to make it look like gigantic like that. Like, oh my goodness, it's towering over the engines. When in reality, it's still pretty tall, but not the tallest thing ever by any stretch of the imagination. Let me actually, I have the, oops. Let me bring this back here. So this is a really tall destination, and this is, you know, over half its height, but that's a good way to compare the two. So here we go, we got the coal loader. I'm super excited about this. They've done a number of versions with this. They've changed the color. Looks nice so far. There's a conveyor belt. Oh, and there's pieces up here that rumble. That's cool. I like this a lot. It's so simple, but it's so effective, and that sound is kind of grating, but it's still cool nonetheless. So 2003 on the bottom. This is just your, this is, you know, a very simple Thomas Wooden Railway destination. This whole part here is plastic, and it has to be plastic for the design. But then look, you know, they could have made this plastic. It's kind of like the old water towers. You know, they used to make as much of the destination as they could with wood, and then somewhere along the line they were like, oh, let's just make the whole thing plastic. But look, you know, the stand here is still really nice. Yeah, there's the bottom of the conveyor belt, way back there. Overall, this is really nice, although I would say I would have loved to have seen this, you know, painted, or just the letters, you know, defined a little bit more. It kind of blends in. I tell you what, I mean, I got this for like $15, and I can't imagine this selling for what, more than like 20, 25? I sure hope it didn't sell for more than 25, because it's small, it's nice and concise, but tell you what, you know, for a realistic wooden railway destination, based on something that, you know, you either see nowadays, you know, you see it very infrequently because steam engines aren't all that common, but it's still really nice. I'm a big fan of this. Don't know where I'm going to put it on my next layout, but I'm definitely going to use it. And yeah, you get some rumbly pieces of coal that in the right light blend in like that. You can hardly, you know, tell which pieces stick out, which ones don't, but then you start moving it and oh, there they are. So really ingenious design. It looks like a lot of plastic, but you know, that was the bare minimum amount of plastic that they could, because then look, kind of this looks like a water tower base. It's all wood. So I'm a big fan of this. It's just known as the coal loader. It was included in some other sets. I believe there was a green one out there, and I think it's been kind of transformed into a number of different things. Really happy with this purchase. It looks awesome. And I just love, I told you, you know, unboxing big destinations is fun, but it's kind of tough. This one was nice and easy. It just popped out ready to go. So that's the coal loader, everybody. We're getting towards the end of this mass unboxing video, but we have a few more items to look at. This one is a double whammy. You're getting two for the price of one. We're going to unbox 2 packs of the giggling Troublesome trucks that cost me $9.99 at Tuesday morning, which I referenced earlier. And I did this in one of my other, oh, we're talking already. I did this in one of my other unboxing videos.
Clickety clack, don't look back.
Hey, at least we know it works. I'll try to put my thumb on this truck because he doesn't talk. I did this when I was looking for the castle coaches. You know, I unboxed like 3 of them at the same time. I got 2 of these I'll unbox. I'm always looking for more Troublesome trucks. I love Troublesome trucks. I think they're so underrated. We need more of them. But here we go. Here are the first ones. This is the giggling one, obviously.
Pull, push, backwards, forwards.
And the speakers at the top. These are the Mattel versions of the Learning Curve toy, which I think the Learning Curve version was pretty popular. Their eyes are a little bit wonky. Although this truck, it's so funny they gave him that like shocked face, because there's a lot of versions of this truck out there. So that's a lot of shocked trucks. The cool part is they have like, I don't know what you would call this feature, but it hits the wheel, and so, you know, this truck goes back and forth, this one goes up and down. It's a really simple feature to incorporate, and it kind of adds like a whole nother element of play for these types of trucks. So I have at least one of each. I think I have two of these guys. I don't know, I have a lot of troublesome trucks now, but I'm always looking for more because you can never have too many troublesome trucks. So there's the first two, which I will put back there, and then we get a little pamphlet on how to change the batteries, I'm guessing. There it is, it's in focus. So here's the packaging for that. Let me unbox the second one. That one seems a lot more muffled for some reason. So yeah, as the packaging says, I got them for $9.99 at a Tuesday morning, which is a huge steal. That's like 60% off compared to, you know, $25 at Toys R Us. However, I will say one time I did go to Toys R Us and they had a number of weird items on clearance, and they were selling these troublesome trucks and the candy cars for $7. I should have bought them all up, but I didn't. So yeah, same song, second verse here, the giggling one, and then just the regular troublesome truck. There's definitely, I don't know if the batteries on this one are lower, but this one is way more muffled. It sounds like it's only coming from this area where, you know, you press this button, and it sounds like it's coming from the whole truck. So that's not an issue with me, I just thought I'd point it out. I actually have a third one of these. I'm keeping in the box though, because who knows when we'll get new troublesome trucks next. But anyway, we got two of the normal troublesome trucks who are just shocked and appalled at something, and we got two more of the giggling troublesome trucks, which I really like these guys because this cargo inside here can be almost anything. So yeah, you know, put this on your flying kipper trains or something like that. These are more like quarry cars. And their faces, I mean, you get like 20 of these and you line them all up. That's concerning, and I think they know that. Maybe that's why they're shocked. It's definitely concerning. So those were 2 packs of the giggling troublesome trucks, and my next item is also going to be a piece of rolling stock as well. As promised, here is the Crawling Critters cargo car. Again, this was one of the, you know, first items from the Mattel era, that early wave that I never picked up because I wasn't too interested, and they only cost me $22. So I found this at a local toy store. It was kind of sad walking in there though, because I'd been in there a couple years ago. It's not a toy store that's really close to me. It's more of like a board game store with like a toy section. And I remember being in there a couple years ago, and their Thomas section was actually very impressive. And I went in there this time only like a few weeks ago or so. We got another one of these pamphlets, which is awesome. I went in there a couple weeks ago, and it was just really disheartening. They had either aren't gonna do Thomas Wood, or they had not received their shipment of Thomas Wood. And so it was just very, you know, desolate, and there was like nothing there. They had a bunch of Fridas, they had a bunch of these guys, they had like one birdie. Basically, they used to have a whole section of Thomas stuff that would cover numerous pegs and numerous levels, and you know, you'd walk in there and you'd say, wow, that's a nice Thomas section. And now, I mean, they had moved the Thomas section, what was left of it, into like a little corner. It kind of looked like a clearance corner. So that was a little bit sad, but they had a bunch of these remaining, and I thought, you know what, I try to shop in stores when I can, because we're seeing it with Toys R Us. You know, all of the online shopping is going to put those actual physical stores out of business. So I don't really need this item, but I thought, you know what, if I were ever going to get it, I might as well buy it from a store and try to help them out. This is the Scorpion car, which is basically a cargo car that's labeled the Scorpion car. Tell you what, if you're afraid of insects, that's a bit intimidating. Ooh, it looks like a crab to me. Or I shouldn't say crab, it looks like a I don't know. That's a big scorpion. I mean, I guess it does look like a scorpion now that I turn it around. I don't know why I said crab. I guess the pinchy part's up there. But that is a big scorpion. So this is kind of an unusual piece of rolling stock because I don't think most kids really, yeah, they don't really like bugs or anything like that. The batteries on this are long gone. The bug car, which again, it's a, where is it? It's a basically a copy of that. Look at that. Same thing, just painted differently. There you go. So yeah, it's part of the Sodor Insect Museum or something. Just a kind of a bizarre, I don't know, maybe some kids like, you know, this type of insect stuff, but to me as a kid, even nowadays, I'm still not a huge fan of it. But regardless, this looks, the color scheme is really, really nice. They did a good job with that. And same thing with the roaring, you know, James's roaring delivery. You know, you can argue that, you know, the theme is okay, but hey, they got the colors right. You know, this really stands out, especially this contrast with the blue and the orange. So yeah, another 2-pack. I remember it being sold all the time with like the oil and the coal car that I picked up. I thought that was a lot more useful than this item. But yeah, we got the scorpion car and the bug car. And this is not the last item I'm going to unbox. I have one other very large item that we're going to take a look at right now. So I had to zoom my camera all the way out to try and get this. This is the final item we are going to unbox in this video. It is the 5-in-1 track pack. It's a big box, if you can't tell. We got, looks like some straight pieces, some switches, some Humpty Dumpty ramps, and a tunnel up there. And the best part is, off to the side, we got different ways we can put this together. I don't think I'm going to take the time to put it together. I'm just going to show off the individual pieces. But the best part of this deal, by far, is the price. $20 at Marshall's. This, I want to say this sold for over $100 on the ThomasWoodenRailway.com website. I'm not exaggerating. So $20 for all this? I mean, the tunnel's worth $20. But yeah, I'm really excited to unbox this. So I kind of prepped it. Yeah, I cut the things on this side just to make it a little bit easier. But yeah, this is a big box. I thought go big or go home with our last thing to do. So here's all of the different configurations. 5-in-1 track pack, I guess that's why it's called that. But it involves, all of them involve like that little mid-switch crossing thing and the tunnel. Yeah, so we could theoretically make all of these designs. I don't think, I'm trying to keep this video on the short end since the first one was outrageously long. So there's the edge of that big box. Put this into the mountain of trash that is accumulating. And ooh, the presentation's really nice. That's really fancy. Okay, so if I turn this over, is everything gonna fall out or am I gonna have to? Ooh, that was loud. Okay, well that's how we're gonna do it. Maybe. So most of the stuff fell out. Some of the stuff not so much. So I'm gonna have to come in here, basically pry it out. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. You get some of those abnormal, unusual pieces, like male adapters, female adapters. You get 2 of these things, which is awesome. I have a little story about these guys. I'll tell in a sec. Oh, and that whole part just came apart. Can you really take this whole thing out? I guess it was just that one piece. Okay, well there's all of that cool plastic stuff. I'm doing a balancing act over here with all the trash that we have. So there's the instructions. Maybe I'll build it up one day. Honestly, it could count as a Thomas Wooden Railway discussion, to be quite honest. So what do we got here? 2 switches. Switches are awesome. Right before the ThomasWoodenRailway.com website went down, I ordered a ton of switches because they were like 99 cents. That they were either $1 or $2. So I got a bunch of these, but I'll take more. So we got 2 switches. We got a crossing here. I have a ton of these because I go to Toys R Us and buy like that accessory pack that came with a crossing and a stop sign and a crossing sign and 2 buffers and 2 ramps for $20. I thought that was always a great deal. So I got a ton of these, but I will take more. These little bumpy hill things are really cool. One of these, I have one of these in my collection. It came from the figure 8 treasure at the mine set, something like that, with the dirty version of Steven when he escapes the mine from King of the Railway. So I have one of these. I always thought it was super unique. I kind of use it on the Coldy Fell portion, the elevated portion. You know, like you can stick it on the ground and it's just a bump, but if it's already up in the air, it looks really cool. It's like, whoa, like, you know, I don't know. Maybe it was cool in theory. We got two pieces of track here, which is really nice, but no road on the back, which is unfortunate, but it happens. The one thing that kind of catches your eye when you look at that big pack, it's this Diesel Works tunnel, which has some great detail on it. It's nice, and this almost feels plastic. It's not, it's just the coating they put on this is super shiny and super nice. Wow, this tunnel is honestly worth the $20. The track and everything else is just kind of a bonus. So, what does that say? 2012? Very cool. I love this tunnel. Awesome. We got a male, female, female, two of those. We got these, I think these are the 3-inch track pieces, which I always need more of because they're just kind of an odd length, but they get you out of some tight situations. And then we got curves. They got these weird rubber bands on them. So 3 of those large curves. Oh wait, we got 6 total. It's another pack, 3 more. We got 4 here of the smaller curves and 4 here of the smaller curves, so 8 total. And then we got 4 of these, which are the 2-inch, I want to say. Yeah, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, 3-inch, 2-inch. And I always need more of these. So that is a great pack. I tell you what, I'll be honest though, ever since, I'll bring the tunnel back so we can look at this beauty some more. I tell you what, I only saw that one pack at Marshall's one time, and that was the time I bought it, and it was $20, and I snagged it up because I thought that was a great deal. I want to say it wasn't like a super common item that was prevalent at TJ Maxx, Marshall's, Home Goods. I want to say that was kind of a very rare item for, you know, to pop up there. But yeah, I remember, I want to say this was sold at Toys R Us a couple of years ago, and I want to say it was sold on the ThomasWoodenRailway.com website, and no joke, I want to say it was more than $100. And I tell you what, I love Thomas Wooden Railway, but some things can just be ridiculously priced, and that was, you know, it still is the way with the Fisher Price website. You know, everything you buy direct from Fisher Price is going to be at, you know, at the bare minimum, the same price you could go buy it someplace else. Or as you get up with the sets and everything, the more expensive you get, they just tack on additional fees, basically. So $100 for all this? No way. But $20? Yes way. I love this tunnel. I've been doing videos for a while. I've been filming all of this in a row, so I'm a bit tired. But I tell you what, this tunnel is really, really nice. I love the detailing on the sides. I'll have to fit this into my layout somewhere. So I think that brings us to the end of this mass unboxing video. But the fun's not over yet, because something that I've always done is I keep all of the trash from when we do this video, the first and the second part, and we look at just the massive amount of trash that is left over by the time the video is done. So give me one sec. I have to clear off the track pieces that are over here, and then I gotta move, my trash pile actually fell off the table and onto the carpet over there. So I gotta move everything onto the table here for one last look, and then I'll sign off and say thanks for watching and all that good stuff. So just give me one sec and I'll be right back. And here is the end result. This is all of the trash that has accumulated over the course of parts 1 and 2 of this mass unboxing video. Compared to previous years, this looks about the same, although I have a much bigger, you know, table here for filming. So I think it's a bit more spread out than it has been in the past. But basically everything here I'm going to end up throwing away, recycling. I've taken away the boxes that I am going to keep, like The grain loader box I'm going to keep, as well as the coal loader box, and even the packaging that the recycling cars came in. Anything from that era is important. So let's see what we got here. The lighting might change a little bit as I step in front of the studio lights. The slot and build, that's from part 1. We got one of the Troublesome trucks here. Oh, we got this stuff. This is from the grain loader. We just looked at this. Wow. And like I said, I kind of implied that I throw this stuff away just in the trash, but I do recycle as much as I can. And you can recycle the majority of this. Fiery flint, because it's just cardboard. Fossil discovery, I'm not going to end up keeping that because that's just a carcass. We got more stuff in the back there. Oh boy. Well, I hope it was worth it. So, crawling critters, just everything. Just everything. Well, there's, it looks like a landfill, to be honest. So, yeah, that's just how I end these types of videos. It's always fun to look through, or, you know, to go through and unbox all of that new Thomas Wooden Railway stuff. But now comes the hard part. I'm going to have to recycle as much of this as I can. So anyway, I guess I'll wrap up this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I love doing these mass unboxing videos. The problem is it just takes a while for me to accumulate enough stuff to make it worthwhile. And I know you guys like watching them. So thank you all so much. Really enjoyed doing this mass unboxing video on this bigger scale, you know, with the backdrop and everything like that. It felt like last year's wasn't really cutting it. So anyway, now comes the hard part for me. I got to figure out what to do with all this stuff. But I guess I'll sign off and say once again, thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate your support. As of the making of this video, I just passed 95,000 subscribers, which is just unbelievable. And we're kind of, you know, we're in the last innings before we get to 100,000, hopefully. So we're on the downhill slope. That's a really big number for YouTube and, you know, just for myself as a content creator. So I tell you what, I'm really excited, really happy with how my channel's been going lately, and I want to thank you guys all so much for your support. Here's what it looks like from a really wide shot. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the items that I unboxed, and hopefully you kind of agree that part 2 was a lot calmer than part 1. Part 1 was really bizarre and just a lot of different things going on. But anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.